Hi, folks. A very warm welcome to season 5, episode 2 of the Lemons and Pineapples podcast. I'm going to be talking to you today about why change feels so uncomfortable and how to shed the old stories that are holding you back. Now, if you're anything like me, maybe you were hoping with the advent of the year of the fire horse, which 2026 is reported to be. Maybe you were hoping at the very beginning of the year the energy would have immediately shifted, and it didn't. I have to say, the first week into January, I was thinking, I think this fire horse has entirely missed me because nothing has changed. And I still found myself kind of slogging through, dealing with the same stuff and having to process through things, and everything felt heavy. And I just will preface this with I'm not massively into astrology. I don't live my life by astrology. It's interesting to me, and I think sometimes when we read things about planetary alignments and kind of themes for the year, sometimes you can go, oh, I feel a bit better. Anyway, I didn't feel better until I discovered that the year of the fire horse doesn't actually begin till the 17th of February. So we still have another 2 and a bit weeks before the energy starts to shift. We're transitioning here very much. So if, like me, you're finding yourself still dealing with the same stuff and you're thinking, I thought I dealt with this, and here you are again, it's completely normal. You are in the right place. The fire horse hasn't galloped past you. So it's got me thinking really about fire horses and snakes and how last year's year of the snake was really about shedding things. Personally, for me, nothing externally changed, shifted, moved, or improved at all. It was, in terms of a year for results, disastrous. Nothing, nothing shifted, nothing worked, nothing moved. However, I did a hell of a lot of internal work. There was a lot of inner work, a lot of inner landscape work, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding, I did a lot of shamanic work. I did some plant medicine work. I did a lot that very much shifted my internal structure and my viewpoint and my goals and how I show up. But I'm still waiting for the external to kind of catch up with all of that work. So there's a reminder and a little lesson just in what I've shared there that sometimes the results don't show up as quickly as we would like them to, and it is very frustrating. And if you can relate to that, I hear you, you are not alone. And in shamanic medicine, snake or serpent is really all about shedding, which is what last year was all about. And what we're still going through at the moment, I know certainly what I'm still going through, is moving through old things, having a look at what is it that's keeping me stuck where I am now? What is holding me back from being able to move forwards? And I'm going to talk more about this in this podcast episode. It's all about shedding old stories so you can navigate change. Now, change is always cyclical, and I think we can get quite frustrated with it when we change or move one thing, and we expect there to be a kind of reciprocal result with that. That is generally not always what happens. Change moves, it moves in cycles. Now, when I did my Martha Beck training, one of the analogies she would use for change was a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, the metamorphosis of that happening. So for a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, caterpillar has to arrive, park off somewhere, and put itself in a cocoon, and it literally dissolves into mush. It's not a caterpillar anymore. It dissolves into absolute nothingness. And from that nothingness, all of the cells reconvene and they start to build themselves out into looking like a butterfly. And then once the butterfly is ready to come out of its chrysalis, it has to fight really hard to break out. And then it has to pump its wings, dry off a bit before it can go. And I believe that if you are to help a butterfly out of its chrysalis, it is very likely to die. Part of the The strength that it builds is in the struggle. Does this not work on so many levels? So you will relate to this if you've been through a big change, that often what happens is you literally hit rock bottom and fall apart at the bottom of it. I can't do this anymore. What am I going to do? How am I going to manage this? And we tend to sit fighting in the mush for a while before we pick ourselves up, dust ourselves down, and start to rebuild so we can emerge at a different level. We can emerge with something new, but it doesn't come without struggle and without some suffering in it. That is the nature of change. It is uncomfortable because it requires you to massively shift and recreate yourself. So, from a shamanic perspective, and I'm referring really to Andean shamanic medicine here, Andean shamanism works on the concept of a medicine wheel. So it's got four directions: southwest, north, and east. And at each of those directions is an animal. And the first one in the south is serpent. And this is where, as anybody who's gone through shedding in the last year of the snake will be able to resonate, this is where the shedding happens. In serpent, when we're at the bottom of the medicine wheel and we're just beginning our journey of change, serpent medicine is about shedding your old stories, shedding the past, the way a snake sheds its skin to be able to move on, is letting go of all of the baggage that you've carried with you that has been determining where you are in the present moment. All of the stories we tell ourselves about these things happened to me in the past, ergo facto, I can't do this because this awful thing happened to me. And we tend to keep these stories very much alive for ourselves because they become part of our identity. But until we shift that identity, we can't actually move forwards. We stay stuck in the chrysalis, slowly dissolving because of all the things we are telling ourselves. This is one of the reasons why talk therapy can be so unhelpful, because unless you have a very skilled therapist who knows to move you through the cycle of change, which from my experience a lot of them don't, is they will keep you in a space, you will stay in a space where you keep rehashing these old stories again and again, week after week. This happened to me, it wasn't fair, I feel angry, so and so should have done something different. And while we keep telling those stories, we keep them alive, we keep perpetuating them, we stay where we are. Because this, where you are right now has been determined by the stories that you've been telling yourself in the past. And when you can start to do the work on those stories, and I'm going to share some journal prompts to help you do that, as we're all into serpent in this episode, until you can shed that, you can't move forwards. And then once we've done the work on shedding our old stories, shedding the past, letting go of all the things that are keeping us where we are, letting go of the stuff that actually holds us back, we move into the West, which is Jaguar energy. And that is, Jaguar medicine is about facing your fears. And at a top level, Jaguar medicine is about facing your fear of death. But we can start to have a look at, okay, if we're working with Jaguar medicine, we can start confronting the fears that we have that stop us from moving forwards. What do you believe about yourself that keeps you where you are, keeps you in your comfort zone? Our beliefs are so powerful because they are the things that drive our behavior. So if you believe things that limit you, you're going to stay where you are. You're not going to be able to move anywhere because you're going to be too afraid to get out of your comfort zone. So working with Jaguar medicine, we start to confront the things that make us afraid. What is it that stops me from moving forwards? What fears do I hold? What beliefs do I hold? And we start to transmute those and let them go so we can level up. And once we work through Jaguar medicine, we come to hummingbird medicine, which is the north. This is where we can have a look at, what does my soul call me to do? What's my purpose? What brings me joy? What lights me up? What are those things that when I think about them, I feel happy and I feel light and I feel like I can step forward and I can make some moves? Where am I going? And it's a really lovely space to be in when you get into hummingbird medicine, of investigating, what is it I want? What lights me up? What makes me happy? And really getting excited about moving forwards rather than complaining about why we're stuck. It's a tiny reframe, but it's really very powerful. And from hummingbird medicine in the north, we move to eagle medicine in the east, which is all about having your soul's direction and your purpose and your calling and the things that light you up take flight. How do we bring that into reality? So it's really quite easy if you let yourself, you can daydream, you can imagine, you can make a vision board, you can talk and think about all of the things, but eagle medicine is the one that puts the oomph into it and makes it a reality. So this is really exciting work, and this is work I do with my coaching clients. Effectively, people come to me for coaching because something has changed and they don't particularly like it and they're navigating it, or they want something to change and they don't quite know how to go about moving through that. Why do you go to anybody for help? It's because you want something to be different. You want to change something. But that process of change is difficult, and we often end up being very stuck. We can end up so stuck in that serpent energy of all the stories, and then we can also maneuver into being stuck in jaguar of, oh, these belief systems I've got that are keeping me where I am. And until we can deal with those, we can't really move on and up level our lives. So, two things to share with you. If this piques your interest and you'd like to dig a bit deeper into getting past this first stage of change, prepping, stripping it all back, shedding it all, so you're ready for when that fire horse comes galloping through with some momentum, I have a really exciting workshop that I'm going to be running on Thursday, the 5th of February. It's online, it's on Zoom. It's going to be £22. You can sign up at emmaobrien.coach.com/ending an era. I'll also put the link in the show notes. And I'm going to be taking you through a very in-depth, detailed workshop to help you really identify and shed the stories that you've been telling yourself that are keeping you where you are and preventing you from moving forwards. I'm really excited to be doing this work. So you can catch that in the show notes and join me. And I'm going to finish by leaving you with 4 questions to think about that can really get that shedding process into motion for you. And the first one is, what part of your current life story has already expired, but you are continuing to carry it anyway? What's one story that you're so tired of, but you keep telling it and you can't quite let it go? Number 2, where are you still choosing familiarity over aliveness? Where are you stuck in a comfort zone? Even though you don't want to be in one, I think the thing with comfort zones, they're the most revolting places to be, but yet we so often find ourselves in them because the revoltingness is familiar. And the opposite alternative to that is going out into uncertainty and possibility and the unknown, which is really quite terrifying. It's why we find change so hard, because there's so many unknown factors that we go, ah, screw it, I'm just going to sit here and complain because it's easier. So where are you choosing familiarity over that hummingbird soul calling purpose, aliveness? Number 3, what truth would your body tell you about the one situation in your life that you wish you didn't have, but you keep playing a role in? And by that, I mean, when you think about it, when you interact with the other people in that particular story setup that you'd like to shed but aren't, what physical sensations come up for you? What emotions come up for you? What's the thought commentary that runs? Because that is very telling. If you have a tightening in your chest and you get that kind of adrenaline-y fluttering, that's not an excitement adrenaline, it's a dread adrenaline, it's a really good sign that something is not working for you anymore. And these somatic signals are really powerful to listen to. Your body knows before your mind does that there's something that's just off and not working anymore. So can you start to listen to what's happening internally for you and somatically for you? And question number 4, what are you afraid would unravel if you stopped telling this story? What would be the repercussions if you went, just going to shed that, let that go because it doesn't fit me anymore? What are you afraid of is going to happen? because often those fears are very telling. We're afraid of X, Y, and Z happening, so God, don't want to deal with the fear, so I'm just going to stay here and be miserable. We have to elevate ourselves and be more powerful than the fear. We have to look at it and go, I see the fear is there. I know it's there. It isn't going to go away. I'm going to move anyway. And that's where being coached can come in really powerfully because you've got somebody like me saying, okay, cool, let's go. I'm walking with you, not doing this on your own. You've got this. So I would love for you to join me on Thursday, the 5th of Feb, for my Ending an Era, Shedding the Old workshop. It's all happening online. Details in the show notes. You can go to emmaobrienccoach.com/ending an era and you can sign up there. If you aren't able to make it live for the workshop, everybody who signs up will get access to the replay, so you won't miss out. It's obviously always better if you can come live because I'm able to do some coaching on the workshops and I'm able to answer questions, which is really, really powerful. So join me and I will look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, if you're working through these questions and you have some insights, I would also love to hear from you. It's really lovely for me to hear from people and hear how this work impacts you. So just pop me a DM on Instagram. It's at Emma O'Brien Coach. You can send me a voice note, send me a little text, whatever you're comfortable with, and let me know how you're getting on with your shedding. All right. Thanks for being with me today, folks. I will see you at the same time next week. Bye for now.